Somebody in the comments said, let's normalize not touching random strangers. Please, 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 please. You are violating his space. Please don't do that.
I swear men are so annoying sometimes. If you can't finish something off, at least put a chip clip on it. Anyways, this is my outfit for today. Going to Home Goods.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Me up, and she said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is it about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back, and I had this sinking feeling in me. Drove for about 5 minutes in silence, and then I went to put my hand on her lap, and she said, don't. Don't touch me, because you won't want to after I've told you what's happened. So when we got home, we got into the house, into the kitchen, and I was standing by the kitchen table, and I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. Tears began to stream. I didn't move. And then she said, and that's not all. And she said, I'm pregnant with this child. And in that moment, I felt like I lost a lot. You know, I'd lost my wife. I'd lost the life we created. I'd lost the dog, our home, her family, everything that I'd really held dear. If someone said, what makes a meaningful life? I would have described these things. And it felt like they'd just been snatched away, just came crumbling down like a house of cards.
We are living in a time that our ancestors dreamed of. We are able to work, make our own money, live on our own, be single, not get married, not have children. We're able to have those choices. And this is the first time in human history that women have had as much freedoms as we've had. We don't really need a man for anything. But with that being said, and I need you to understand, with that being the case, we are going to have, like, reform requires upheaval or some kind of disruption. So we are going to be disappointed with our relationships with men. That is the way it is. Until men catch up with the fact that we don't need them for these things, and therefore the way that they've been able to behave for the last centuries and centuries is not the way they're going to be able to behave anymore, that's going to take a while to click for them. So in that time that it takes them for that to click, we have to accept that we probably will not be able to have the kind of relationships with men that we would like to have. And that's okay. If we asked our ancestors what would they prefer, to have to marry a man, or to have his children, or to have freedom and maybe would not have relationships with men anymore, they would choose not to have relationships with men anymore. We are all probably going to have to accept that we need to stay single if we are going to demand what we are demanding from men. It's going to take a while for it to kick in for them to get the bigger picture. So that is the price that we pay, is that we have to accept that we need to stay single, or we are going to be chronically disappointed by these men who are still operating in an archaic way that they've been allowed to operate in for all of human history. These teachings and these social practices are very insidious. A lot of people behave and act on them very subconsciously. They don't realize that. Men have been able to get away with in the past that they can no longer get away with now because we do not need them for our livelihood. Men are used to being able to cheat. They're used to being able to lie. They're used to be able to assert their dominance on us. That's becoming less and less of the case. So until they catch up, we have to accept that we need to start pouring our energy and effort and our love into other things. As a woman in today's day and age, you should be focused on obtaining power. A lot of us are going to have to forgo children and marriage. Even if that's something that we kind of want, we're going to have to forgo that if we are to make the demands that we're making from men. And to me, that's okay. I'm so glad. I can't even express to you how grateful I am that we live in the time that we live in right now. But we have to keep pushing forward. Okay, so you need to be obtaining power. You need to be putting yourself on in life, and you need to be doing whatever you need to do to make that happen. So that means not having a boyfriend and going to school. That means not having a boyfriend and starting a business. That means not having a boyfriend and leading social causes. That's what that means, and that's okay. But you need to.
You know, women like this tend to get online and they just start talking. No basis, no nothing. I think when I looked up some stats on it, about 27% of people, which is, it's not nothing, but it's not the majority of people, I think is what my point is, regretted marrying their ex. 27% of the population or the people who got married, 27% of them regretted marrying their ex. And then when you look at a study that Pew Research did I think somewhere around 2022, 2023, something like that. I think 60% of people were happy that they got married. They really enjoyed it. And I guess, I don't know, I don't want to say they were thriving, but they were happy to be married. That, they said, marriage is a part of my happiness, and I enjoy it. Right. So you can't just get on here and start talking about stuff about how your grandmother would not be married and she would hate it, because now you're projecting your values onto her and things that she would do. And as a whole, and this is what men have with the problem, as a problem with modern women, is they generalize everything. All men are this, all men are trash, all men are garbage. And they want a man to say, well, it's only a select few of number of women who do X, Y, and Z. But here they are getting on here at full speed, saying stupid stuff, flat out lying. And then when a man calls them out and holds them accountable for it, they don't go back and correct it. They just say something dumb like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. No, we're going to ground this bird. Stop saying stupid stuff. Stop saying it. Be accountable for what you're saying out here.
My husband doesn't know what's going on. The other gentleman does know that I am married, and I don't want to leave my husband, but I don't want to break things off with this other gentleman either.
So let me give you another side to this, okay?
Okay.
Number one, I don't think you love your husband. I don't. I think you love the idea of the security that 7+ years of quasi-stable relationship brings. I also think deep down you understand that you are with somebody of so little character that he doesn't mind blowing up another family so he can hook up with somebody.
Just one. And the child lives with him.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want the baby back.
Yes, ma'am.
How long has the baby lived with you?
The baby? It's been living the whole time.
Oh, okay. And how old is this child?
5.
5. Oh. And you expect to get child support?
Yes, ma'am.
And the child has been living with him for almost, it's a boy or girl?
Boy.
His whole life?
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I get my baby back, I want child support, yeah. He makes way more money than I do. I want my baby back and I want child support.
I'm sorry, you have to excuse me because nothing you're saying is making sense right now. You came to court to ask me to give a child back to you that was taken from you, that's 5 years old, that's pretty much lived with this man the entire time.
They took my baby away because my ex-boyfriend is an abuser and I'm not with him anymore, so I want my baby back.
So you want somebody to give the child back when you've already shown that you're not the best judge of character and you have that child in danger? Delusion.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten into, ever, over our toilet water. You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am. Okay, so here's what happened. Every single time I go out of town, my husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home. Somehow this man got it into his head that, what would be really cool is if you put one of those giant blue hockey discs in the back of your toilet water so that every time you flush, the toilet comes out blue. The toilet water comes out blue. Like we live at a 7-Eleven or something. So I come home, I'm using, I go to the bathroom and I'm like, why is the water blue? And he's like, oh, I bought these things to put in the back of the toilet. I was like, what were you doing at the store? Looking at the aisle of all the things for cleaning items for the house where you thought that would be a good idea. Take me through that. He's like, you're making such a big deal. You're being so dramatic. I'm like, I am not being dramatic. So for a month, I'm flushing the toilet and it's still blue. And I'm complaining about it every day. I'm like, Nick, I can't live like this anymore. I cannot live with the blue toilet water. So literally, we're laying in bed the other night and I just go on TikTok, how do I empty the back of my toilet tank so I can, so that I can get rid of this blue water. I literally put in the search bar, how do I empty the back of a toilet tank? He gets up in a fury like, oh my God, you're making such a big deal about this. When did you get so highfalutin? Blah, 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 blah. You've changed so much. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, changed so much. Like, we live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Like, it's 2024. Like, what are you doing where you think this was a good idea? So that night, he emptied the toilet bowl somehow. I still don't know how to do it. And it's great. It looks good now in the main bathroom, but not the master.
This might surprise some of you, but I do think this is a big deal because that man is clearly not appreciated for anything more than toilet water. So yeah, I do think this is a big deal. That man is absolutely justified in his reaction. And honestly, he needs to set some boundaries to ensure respect and appreciation for everything he does in that relationship. And that man better not say sorry when it somehow gets turned around on him.
Imagine complaining about somebody actually cleaning the house. What are we doing out here?
There is one thing pissing me off these days. What is up with people who cannot form their own opinions, so they have to go to comments and then be told what to think on things? No one can form their own freaking opinions now. They literally have to be told what to think, and then they become like full of rage or whatever, depending on what one person says about it. And it's just so obnoxious. It happened to me personally with blue toilet water. It wasn't an issue until one giant creator ditched it and gave a very strong negative opinion. Oh yeah, this is a terrible thing. And then everyone jumped on that train.
I was wrong. I've been humbled. I did apologize to him when he came home yesterday, and he was like, Jen, that was forever ago. Who cares? I was like, no. I was dramatic. I just want to tell you I'm sorry. That was a little too much this time. We're fine. On to the next fight. Just kidding. He's the best. Sweet, sweet man. Oh no, he got me. We've been gardening all day together. He really is great. I'm folding the laundry. See, I do things too, you guys.
So at least she apologized, but let me point out why this is a deeper issue. There has to be an underlying reason in order to get so upset about blue toilet water. I just don't think that the seriousness of this is being addressed. And a lot of people are in the comments, and I feel bad in a way to bring this up and to even do a second video on this because I truly don't think that she realizes it. But people in the comments, I mean, they're being direct, but they're being fairly kind. Many of them saying that you're going to push a good man away, that you don't realize how good you have it. So whatever it is that's causing you to not see that and to not feel it, I hope it gets addressed.
I gotta believe that this is some sort of skit or it's some sort of joke. I have to believe that no woman in their right mind would complain about a man making sure that there was some sort of thing in the toilet to make sure the toilet was clean in general. You've got to be an idiot. I think it's a skit. It's got to be a skit.
Y'all, some men really need humbled a little bit more. Physical features. If you see that I'm a girly that be in the gym, that works out all the time, that takes care of her body, and you approach me looking like you haven't seen the gym since high school days when it was mandatory to go to the gym, baby, get it together. I'm not about to entertain no conversation with you. I'm just not. And it sounds surface level, but I've been literally actively in the gym for over 6 years. And before I was in the gym, I wouldn't approach somebody that stayed in the gym and worked on their body and worked on the way they look because I knew that they were out of my league. So why do some men just think, you know what? This is how I look and that's how she looks? I know I have a chance. What goes through their mind? I'm genuinely curious.
Well, women, typically speaking, don't approach men anyway, so I don't know what that argument's about. Number one. Number two, you don't really have to say this on the internet. You guys, instead of talking to the person, like instead of saying that to their face, you get on the internet and say that. Once again, displaying to us the effective communication that they be asking for is non-existent. It's non-existent. He just came up and asked for your number. You could have just said no and left it at that. You've been working out your body, and I'm sure it looks great, but you need to now transition to your ego. And you actually need to be humbled yourself.
Wearing booty shorts to school is diabolical. Nobody wants to see your bare ass cheeks at 8 o'clock in the morning. Who said that?
I feel like there's something embarrassing about loving men, and I don't mean this as like an anti-man sentiment. And so I'm so glad you learned these things about yourself, but now where does that leave me? You know, I felt that I was just collateral damage, and I think that's what makes women so amazing, is that we are like very loving creatures. So it feels embarrassing when you're all in and then the other person, often a man, is just like not ready or not ready to commit or not able to meet you where you're at or not able to go deep within themselves to the level that they need to go deep with you. And because we live in a patriarchy, like men, I think can't go as deep very often, even though I think they wish they could. I do think that if you're a woman and you're dating men, you feel like you're like a lab rat.
Don't you think that that could be the case for somebody who is not really in a position to date somebody who's not really healed? That could go for both genders. You don't think that? Why do you guys do that? Y'all let one guy that you probably shouldn't have been with mess you up. And then you're like, yeah, all men do this. No, the dude that you were with did that. Man, at your age, why would you be talking like this? Do y'all actually sit and process what's actually going on and think about it? Or y'all just start talking? Oh, we're emotionally vulnerable. We know how to communicate effectively. I can't tell. Get a grip.
Nathan, ready? Finley, watch out. 2, 3.
No! What are the benefits that a man has from having female friends?
Honestly, none. They get to look at them. They get the benefit. Girls, like I like my guy friends, but like I know in the back of my mind that they would want to so like I don't know, like.
What are some of the benefits women have from having guy friends?
Honestly, I don't know. I have to pretend that they don't want to fan. I just like we're just a guy friend. We're just friends.
If you guys were walking on the street together and somebody came up and tried to rob you, do you expect him to try and protect you?
Yes.
Okay. If he's gonna risk his life for you, what's the equal benefit for him having a female friend?
That's a good question. That's a good question. What's a good benefit? What's a good benefit?
He potentially gets some.
No.
So again, I am ready to take some notes on what it is that you bring to the table, even in a friendship.
Oh my god, you guys are so cute together. Oh no, we're just friends.
Have you ever accidentally fallen in love with your best friend and not known if you should tell them or stuff your feelings because you were afraid of ruining your friendship forever? Well, I have. And this is how it went. I had a boy best friend of a year, and we were genuinely, purely platonic, best friends, told each other everything. And then about 8 months into friendship, I caught big feelings. I had no idea if he felt the same way. Super attracted to him, and I couldn't figure out what to do. To complicate things, we didn't live in the same state, so we always had to be intentional about when we'd see each other. I finally came to the conclusion that it would be way worse to never tell him how I feel and eventually see him fall in love with someone else than maybe mess up our friendship, but also maybe fall in love. So I decided to take a trip to the city that he lives in. I had a bunch of other friends living in the same city, but I knew I was really just going for him, but at least it didn't look like that. The whole flight, I was just hyping myself up to have this conversation with him. We're hanging out the first night, and I decide to ask him about his love life and if there's any potential interest right now, because that's not something crazy that we would have talked about as best friends. The love of my life looks me dead in the eye and says, "No, There's no one that I'm interested in right now. In fact, it's a bummer because I feel like I have so many incredible women in my life, like you, but I just don't really have any feelings for anyone. Immediate heartbreak, immediate devastation.
I was on set today with a man who, granted, very kind, very sweet, super nice guy, easy to hang out with. But the topic of children came up. And if you know me, I don't want children. I absolutely know for a fact, 1000%, I do not want children. You can't talk me out of it. And so I always love to talk to men that say they want to be fathers, okay? And he starts boasting about wanting to be a dad. He wants to do the messy part. Is it messy? He wants the loud, every part of it. I'm like, yeah, okay. I said, so you would want to adopt children if you never found the right partner? And he goes, no, they have to be my biological child. And then I was like, oh, okay, you're one of those. And he's like, yeah, like I want to be the father that I never had. Okay, you're one of those.
So I'm looking down these comments, and probably the thing that I'm coming up with is stupidity. So this is a woman that says, every guy I've ever met has asked if I wanted kids. And when I say no, they say, what about just one, or not now, but in the future? And she was like, why are you trying to convince me? I think maybe he's just asking because for some people out there, they say they don't want kids, but then as they go along, their values might change. That's why he's asking. Just to part of the conversation, right? You guys keep on saying that you want communication. He's communicating with you. He's asking questions. He didn't ask me a single question. He just did. But you think it's a dumb question. Why do men, it's so crazy that you don't want to adopt, but you want your own bloodline or your own legacy. What legacy? You're a plumber. Whatever it is, this is what I would like. What day and age have we come to where a man gets shamed for wanting to have a child? His child. I don't necessarily want to adopt. Doing the same thing with single mothers. You won't date a single mother? Are you even a real man? Yep. That's what a real man looks like. Are you a loser? Because that's what you're talking like right now. Are you a weirdo? Oh, men don't think critically. What are you talking about? If a man states his preference, all of a sudden he's not thinking clearly because you don't agree with it? What do we have going on here? I was on set. On set of what? Instead of making movies and TV shows, you need to be thinking about how to write a book or study on how to think about somebody else's point of view. How can I do that? How can I have some sort of empathy towards somebody else's position? You could add to the conversation by saying, oh, that's interesting. For me, if I had kids or if I wanted to have kids, because I it's not really for me, but if I did, I wouldn't mind adopting. Really? Yeah, man. I just think that, somebody's already here. It's already a kid that's here, needs love. You have a lot of kids in the foster care system. I'm thinking, why not? Like I said, I don't really want kids, but if I did, then I wouldn't mind going and, trying to adopt one, right? I think that'd be a good opportunity for me to give a kid a home. Of course, I would, probably try to wait until I get married to have a little bit of help, or however you want the conversation to go. But you guys are thinking in your mind stupid stuff, and then you're saying that men are brain dead because they have an opinion on what they actually want. My God, don't start no conversations. Just get up there and act, because if this is what you're going to come back to us with, we don't need to hear no more of it.
As women, we need to stop dating down. We genuinely need to stop giving the uglies a chance, because for whatever reason they think that they made it, and then their egos blow up, and then they end up screwing people over. Like, what? That's why I'm not on the dating apps. That's why you shouldn't be on the dating apps, okay? Because these men, okay, these boys, think they have access to you, when in real life, in the wild, you wouldn't look them a certain way. And then don't get caught up in the, okay, like, he's not that handsome, but he's nice. Everybody's nice. That's the bare minimum. Oh my God, if that man cannot be nice, cannot be polite.
Well, it does have access to you. because you're on the dating app. If I saw you in real life, you wouldn't have a chance. Well, because you're not having so much success in real life, then now you get on the dating app looking to have a little bit more success, as does he. So now you both have access to each other. That's how that works. Little loser.
Coming in more for divorces, men or women?
That's easy. Women. Women are coming in for divorces more than men. Why? Because they're tired. They're tired of their husband's shit. They're tired of their husbands not doing anything. They're tired of doing it all, coming in and being the super mom, working 24/7, picking up the house, doing their husband's laundry on top of their kids' laundry, cleaning the house, doing everything, and their husband literally does nothing.
Nothing to see here. It's just a woman trying to build her practice in whatever town she's in. Nothing to see.
I can remember when I told my ex-husband I wanted a divorce. It was December 2019. I remember very clearly having yet another talk with him about how unhappy I was. But this particular conversation, he was in his man cave room playing video games, which was like his favorite activity. And I go walking in and I tell him, like, I really want to talk about our marriage. Like, I'm not happy. It feels like we're roommates at this point and I don't really have a partner, blah, blah, blah. This man was wearing his headphones because he was playing with a friend and they like talked to each other. He didn't even take his headphones off. He just pulled it off his right ear. I can still, this is almost 4 years ago now. I can still remember he pulled it off his right ear and he didn't pause the game or stop playing. He continued to play a video game while his wife was standing in front of him, telling him how unhappy she was in the marriage. And I remember when he said to me something about like marriage being forever and whatever. And I said to him, well, maybe some marriages aren't meant to last. And he got so mad at me for saying that. But he didn't stop playing video games to have the conversation with me.
Once again, we have another woman on here talking about things about how terrible the husband is without giving full context. How many times have y'all had this conversation? What did you say to him? Maybe this man is just tired of listening to you. He's tired of having this conversation. Men out here trying their best to do whatever you want them to do. And unfortunately, it's still not good enough.
Absolutely went into marriage knowing I was going to become a divorcee. There was no question in my mind. I knew at some point we would get divorced. The only question mark was when. I thought, when I'm 40. Maybe I'd get that title. Maybe then I'd earned it, 10 years down the track. Because I think 10 years in a marriage, that's a pretty good innings in this day and age. That's like a good run. Turns out it was just the 3. In the end, that's all we kind of reached our limit with. But, still got the title in the end. And obviously, I don't want to get married ever again. However, double divorcee is a term that I'm living for.
And once again, these are the women who want a man to take them seriously. I want a nice dinner date. I'm not accepting anything that has coffee, ice cream, a public park. I'm worth more than that. When you're making statements like this online, a lot of men would beg to differ.
Woman logic is that although I don't want to date him, I want him to want to date me. Like, even if I don't like him that much, I want him to be like downright absolutely tremendously down bad over me. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna need him to want to get on one knee, and I wouldn't say yes, but I'm gonna need him to do that. This is so psychotic.
It is psychotic, especially from the comments. Some women saying, I want him to be downright obsessed with me. Another woman saying, I want his validation, but not him. We know that. That's why men are staying away from dating. That's why they don't want to have anything to do with you. And you're wondering why a man does not want to pay for anything. He wants to go half on that, 50-50. We need to start checking you to see that you are actually in this relationship or at this dinner for the right reasons. Oh, whoever asks should pay. No. If you're going to talk silly like this online, talking about I don't want him, I don't really even like him, I just want his validation, then you need to start putting some skin in the game. Too many times, over and over again, these modern women get away with just sitting up there, batting their eyes a couple times, giggling and ha-haing and key-keying, and then getting their meal paid for. You can kiki and giggle and ha ha, but you need to bring some real substance. That's what men are asking for. And if all you're there for is validation, then you need to start paying your way.
So I'm in trouble. I have been posting for 30 days now, and I'm so grateful. I do have 2,400 followers, but I finally feel like my husband's on board, where he's like really encouraging and excited, asking like what I'm posting the next day. And so we were just kind of like laying in bed talking about it last night, and I was showing him Kylie Pitts and a few other influencers, specifically Kylie Pitts, because I saw she just retired her husband, and that is insane. Also like seeing her house content, her new house. I believe it's her new house. Again, recently came across her page, and a few other influencers. And I kid you not, I look over because he was quiet for a little while, and between like 2 times looking over at him, he was looking at vacations, and then he was looking like trips to Kauai, and then he was looking at Airstream campers. I'm like, buddy. And if you know Airstream campers, those are like expensive. They're not just a normal, which campers in general are just so expensive right now, but those especially. And so I'm like, sir, that we're a ways out from that happening. Like, sit tight, because this is not happening. Also, why is my shirt like popping open? I've breastfed 2 babies. There's nothing to see there. Let me fix that, because we don't want that. That's where we're at with this. We're in for the long haul, but I think he needs a little bit of a reality check, because me and my 2,400 followers we're just hanging out. We're hanging out. There's no money to be made yet, but it is just crazy when I see what people are making.
You know, I was actually talking to my brother about this recently. And he was talking about one of the coworkers, one of the guys that he used to work with, about how that man, I think he rose to senior vice president, something like that, SVP. And he started making a pretty good amount of money. And his wife, who was a teacher, God bless her soul, who obviously isn't making as much money as he is, took it upon herself to say, okay, we got 2 kids now, we need to get a new car. Okay, it's going to be a little bit more of a payment, right? But you know, let's go ahead and do it. And now they start looking at homes. And the problem is not so much that they're looking at new homes, they're looking for bigger homes now, right? All of a sudden, now that I get a new promotion, what's wrong with the home that we have? Probably nothing. It's just now that you have money, husband, hubby, we need to get a bigger house. We do? We need? Or is it okay with what we have right now? Now, we need to look like what everybody else is looking like. We can do better. We or me? So now I have to get out there and I have to work harder. I have to make sure. You guys do know that the things that you do, essentially what you're doing is putting your husband in a tight spot. Oh, my husband loves it here. He's stressing him out, having to work harder to try to run after and chase after your desires. Not only was she looking at a bigger house, she decided to look in some of the most expensive neighborhoods that I've been in, that the homes, you're like, whew, nice homes in here, nice homes. And you're like, man, it's got to cost at least this much. And you get home and you verify it on Zillow or something like that. And you're like, yeah, that's a lot. That's what she's doing. And guess who's going to pay for that? He is. He's going to pay for that because you're not making any money. Not really. Not enough to get that. You might be able to pay a light bill, but most of that is going to be on him. You going, well, I want to go get my nails done now, and I want to go get this and I want to get that. But here we have a woman talking about, oh, well, just wait. We're a little bit premature, you know, looking for vacations. But when a woman does it, then all of a sudden he should be a provider. And if he's really a provider, he should go out there and really, really just hit it. Just beat the pavement trying to make money. That's what protectors and providers do.
It's 2025. Does the man still have to pay for the first date? Yesterday, I was out with a bunch of my friends and this topic came up and I was like, what are we doing here again? Like, we already know the name of the game, like the guy pays. My guy friends, who I love and respect, some of them thought I was being so unreasonable to be like, I still think the man should pay for the first date and all subsequent dates. Some of my friends even were like, Kim, you're such a feminist. Like, why would you think that the girls shouldn't have to pay half? Like, it's equal. For me, as a relationship expert, I've always believed that the man should pay, and it's for 3 different reasons. Number 1, the woman always has more risk on a first date. Okay, she's walking into a situation where she doesn't know if the man is a predator or is gonna do something bad to her, is gonna become a stalker. It's so risky just for a girl to go on a first date. That's number 1. Number 2, the expense for a girl to go out on a date is just exponentially higher than it is for a guy. Outfit, your hair, the cost of your makeup, the upkeep to keep you looking and feeling the way that you do. It's just, and you might come at me and be like, you know what, like you choose to do that, or the man has to put effort into his appearance too. But if we're being honest with ourselves, it is not the same. Number 3, men have generally more to gain from the relationship than a woman does. I think back to when I was married, and I had about 2 years where I was either pregnant or acutely recovering from a pregnancy. Probably longer when you factor in actually like taking care of the newborn babies and breastfeeding and all of that stuff. So the actual investment that a woman has to make into a relationship comes later and comes with like your bodily autonomy, your freedom, the way you look and feel literally and medically for the rest of your life. The risk and the investment is just so great that even the financial piece like can't fully compensate for you for the sacrifices that you're going to make potentially in this relationship. Now that doesn't mean that you can't be grateful when someone treats you to a beautiful date. That's a different story, to be like, thank you so much for the beautiful dinner, or thank you so much for this wonderful experience. But when it comes down to it, I feel like for men, even if you meet this girl and you feel like you're not romantically interested in her, I think you do have a responsibility to pay, because as a society, the man should be the one investing in those initial like courting experiences. Just my 2 cents.
I don't know why women keep saying this, man. I mean, if you're initiating divorce at a 70 to 80% clip, 80 to 90% if you're college educated, how is that a benefit to the man? When a man is giving you financial security, social validation, because y'all like to say, well, a beautiful woman is social currency. That might be true, but a man protecting and providing for you is also social currency. Oh, you a kept woman. If a man tries to come up to you and he says, hey, are you married? And, no, I'm married. And the man actually takes that serious. You say, I have why do y'all say I have a husband or I have a boyfriend when a man comes up to you, even when you don't have a boyfriend? Is because you're counting on the protection. You're counting on the deterrent of the man. Or else you would just say, well, you know, I'm not interested. Well, I can say that, but if I say that, he's not gonna leave me alone. But if I say I have a man, then maybe he'll respect that man. Oh, so that man, even when he's non-existent and he's not there, he's protecting you. Oh, okay. So you get social validation, you get protection, you get financial security, you get somebody to help you raise children with, you get legal benefits. Should you divorce him, alimony, child support. Oh, he wants to make sure that you're protected and provided for, life insurance, retirement access, all of those things that y'all don't be talking about, right? Like I said, physical, financial, emotional, protection. Now we look at some of the risk in marriage: loss of assets, limited rights to their kids, emotional damage, social value drop, one-sided accountability. You guys are not serious on this. Also, if you look at the statistics, just saying, men's health benefits in marriage drop significantly when the wife is unhappy. Also, and I hate to say this, I really do, because I don't know how this, it's going to look for me, but single men without kids are now happier than married men with kids, according to a Pew and Harvard study. I don't like reading that at all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, honestly and truly, it seems like you guys never really give a man credit for plumbing, handling stuff around the house, pest control. You guys say that I want a man that's a handyman. I want a man that, he just good with his hands. He knows how to fix things, and never give him credit for it. The only time y'all be giving men credit for it is when y'all want to post on social media and brag about, oh, look what I did. I picked well. But it's more so about you and less about him. Y'all don't talk about a man having to manage the warranties, insurance claims on the house, coordinating with contractors and mechanics. Y'all don't talk about that because y'all don't even know what goes on because men ain't telling you stuff like that. Securing the house at night, door locked, is the alarm set, stuff like that. Dealing with suspicious noise. Y'all don't even talk about that because y'all in the bed sleep. If something goes bump in the night, where y'all gonna be at? While this man is downstairs potentially getting DDT through his own dining room table, y'all up there, SOS, somebody come save me, jumping out the window and running for your life. Hopefully that man is downstairs, able to recover and do something to the villains, but you on your way out the door. This man gotta say, go, take the kids, save yourselves, and guess what you gonna do? Save yourself. So like I said, property management, home defense, emergency. If something goes down in a home, you're looking to a man to say, okay, how many people are actually in a fire? How many people are actually in a natural disaster? Guess who you look, oh yeah, we're playing? Oh, what are we gonna do? I'm leaning on my man to know. That man don't know. But because you looking at him, because the kid's looking at him, he goes, oh, what are we gonna do? I gotta think of something fast. And you offload that responsibility to him. Man, shut up. You know what you're talking about. You guys never give a man credit. While you're sitting at the house or wherever you are, and nobody's saying your job is not important, but y'all never give a man credit for sitting up here saying, where are we going to be 10 years from now? How do I make sure as a man that we get there? If I got to work, if I got to lose sleep, dead tired, some of these men are working themselves to exhaustion. And they're doing it darn near every single day. But what women will do is they'll sit up there and complain about a man not spending enough time with them. You know what? Are you happy that I'm spending time making sure these bills are covered so you can have your lactose-free skim almond milk or whatever? Are you happy about that? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We really need to start a group for people that just, for some of these ladies out here that need to be empowered, hyped up, pumped up with an attitude of gratitude. My God, the date is, we risk more on the date? What? Got to get the outfit. Oh, we're walking into Predator. That's statistically not even true. That's not even true. Just lie. As a relationship expert, I got to fire you on the spot. I got to strip you of the title right now. Because no relationship expert would have said something as stupid. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. That's just dumb. We have more of the risk. How? The man is, if that man, he's got to pay for that stuff. He's got to continue. Yeah, but we might get taken out or unalive. No. Statistically speaking, that's not true. It's not true. I can understand why you'd feel that way, but that's not, statistically speaking, likely to happen. You know that. You know that, expert. But this is what I'm saying. They throw this around, they throw that around, be lying the whole time. Get a grip.